Dear future me, fully, honestly, transparently. Number one, I am in between. Number two, I believe God. I believe God, but there's skepticism. I believe He's telling me to pray and not worry. Number three, what does the word say? Or from what I've studied, seek the kingdom. What's the kingdom? Love, joy, peace, righteousness. Don't worry about it. But to keep asking people for money is crazy. What does the word say? I'm okay with where I am. I think. I don't know what I think. Okay isn't the right word choice. There's a difference, a sense of trust, but also a sense of what the bleep is actually happening. What does it truly look like to be following Christ in this season of my life? Humility is to pray and to believe what God says above what you say. It is to think God's thoughts above your own. It is to believe what He says in His word above what you see, above what you feel, above what it looks like, how it's going to turn out, above everything. It is to believe that what He says goes and that His truth stands above all things. My pastor kept saying in church, you know how you hear a sermon and that one thing keeps sticking out? My pastor kept saying, to be humble is to pray. Humility is to pray. And that gave me a little bit of confidence because I have actually been talking to God about pride and about how I feel like pride has been kind of rising up in my life. And I feel it and I see it and I know it. And so it gave me a lot of encouragement that the pastor was talking about, and that was the thing that stuck out to me because I knew right then and there that God was answering the prayer I asked Him about pride. And He kept saying, humility is to pray. And I studied Proverbs 11:2, and it says, when pride cometh, then shame comes. And I was literally reading that in the moment where I was feeling shame about something. And I'm like, oh my goodness, when pride comes, shame comes. Shame is coming quicker and quicker and quicker the more I lean on myself, the more I lean on my feelings above what God says. Even in this, I have to believe that God gives me the words to say because that's what His word says. So I think, is it prideful to be anxious? Is it prideful to be nervous when God's word says you don't have to be? It says don't be anxious. It says all things work out for your good. It says I will give you the will and the way, the desire. It says seek ye first, and all things will be added. It says, the pride will fall. It says so many things, and but what I tend to do, and I believe what we tend to do, is we fall into what I consider the opposite of the kingdom. We fall into worry. We fall into disbelief. We fall into all of these anxieties and fears and anger and all of these stuff because we simply just don't believe God's word above all things. And so we worry about things that the Lord literally said in His word not to worry about. Because we are convinced by how we feel. We are convinced. These things are convincing that we should be afraid. These things are convincing that we should snap off on somebody. Or we feel entitled, or we feel, I forgot what the word is, it's on the tip of my tongue, but we feel like we can do that. I have the right to, because you pissed me off, because you didn't do something I asked you to do, or because you didn't do it the way I wanted you to do it. So I feel entitled. I feel like I can. But the word says, what does the word say though? And at the end of the day, Jesus won. Anyways, the whole point, I believe for this video is, well, several points, but what the point I was getting at is pray. Pray. Above all things, do not worry. Pray. Do not worry. Seek His kingdom and His righteousness, and all things will be added. All things will be added. He is a good, good Father, and And I'm working on believing it myself. It's like, God, help our unbelief, because it gets hard. And the things around us, the things that we see, it gets convincing. Who we show ourselves to be becomes convincing above who God says we are. But with the lowly is wisdom. If you decide to be prideful, if you decide to believe what you see, how you feel, there will be shame. You will do things as a result of that, but as a result of being humble and praying and seeking, he says all things will be added. And I have to believe that, because I have nothing else. I can't remember who said, but it says in the Bible, where else am I gonna go? I think Peter said that to Jesus. Where else we gonna go? What else am I gonna do? I think that is so important to think about. What else am I gonna do? Where else am I gonna go?